thank you for sharing that background on how that started. Where did the collaboration with the paddles come into play? Like, what was the time frame around that, and how did that come together?
Yeah, good question. So the very first video that we put out would have been in June of 2023. And really our goal with starting putting out content was to eventually just find like an existing paddle brand that would be like, hey, we want to sponsor you guys. We'll pay you to use our paddles. And so probably a month into it, we had grown to maybe like 10,000 followers or something.
Wow.
Um, and we had like every single paddle brand come knocking at our door being like, hey, we want to sponsor you guys. Just because no one else was doing it. I mean, I think that really is like the most simple way of putting it. Um, and so we were pumped, right? We had Vulcan, Valair, Carbon, all coming our way. I don't know who else was in there. And then eventually Selkirk came knocking, and they were the ones that offered us, as you can imagine, way more than any other company. Um, and so, yeah, from there we were trying to work out a deal with Selkirk. We were really excited about what they were offering us, and kind of during that process, we had come across another Instagram page that was like Friday_Pickleball. And we're like, yo, what is this? And I click on it, I look on it, and I see that they have actual paddles. They have a website called FridayPickle.com, which was weird because we looked up the name, like we did our diligence before naming ourselves Friday, and there was nothing that existed. And their very first post on Instagram of like one of their paddles was within 2 or 3 days of the first video that we put out on Instagram.
Wow.
So kind of this crazy coincidence. And we're like, okay, well, that kind of sucks, but there's a ton of pickleball brands that are starting up right now. There's no way these guys are going to stick around. These paddles have like these crazy designs on them. Like,
Yeah,
no
my first thought was literally
one's
like, no one's going to buy these paddles. Truly, these guys will be out of business in a matter of months.
yeah, so that was kind of like our mindset there. We just kind of pushed it to the side, and we ended up having a handful of lawyers from our team and Selkirk's team get involved with the contract just to make sure everything looked good. Um, us signing the contract just kept getting delayed. There were things that didn't look right that needed to be tweaked, and so it would get pushed back a week and then another week. And then eventually we finally got the green light. And the day that we got the green light, I had gotten a DM on my personal Instagram. Jake and I had gotten a DM on our personal Instagrams from the Friday_Pickleball account. And they were like, hey, just want to let you guys know that we have an active trademark out for Friday. We noticed that you started selling some shirts and apparel. Could we jump on a call to sort this out? And so then at that point, we were kind of annoyed, like, man, we're about to sign this deal. Literally that day, we got the green light to sign the deal. We're about to sign the deal, and we're like, okay, we should probably hold off today signing this so that we can sort this out just in case they put out a cease and desist and we have to change our name, and it would just be a massive headache. So yeah, 2 days later, actually funny story about that. At the time that I got the DM, I was in Las Vegas with Jake, and Jake at the time was performing stand-up comedy. He was on a comedy tour with a guy named Trey Kennedy. And I got this DM 20 minutes before Jake's going on stage. And so he's like getting ready for his set, and I go up to him and I show him the DM, which probably wasn't the smartest thing because we just got this like crazy DM. So now that's all he's thinking about during his set. But anyway, yeah, a few days later, the three of us hopped on a call, and Scott, you can take it away from there.
We hopped on the call, and it was just like instant chemistry. It's like it's like we met our wives, it's like, oh my gosh, this is true love. But we talked first with Matt, and he's the founder of Friday. He and two other guys named Andre and Bennett started the company just as like a passion project. They were actually running a company called Verb Energy, which is like caffeinated energy bars. And they started that while they were in college at Yale together. And so Matt pretty much comes on the call and is like, hey, me and these other guys started this company, and like basically shares the e-commerce success that they've had. And so Isaac, Jake, and I, three guys from Kansas City, just making dumb videos. We're like, okay, so three guys from Yale that are really successful in e-commerce want to work with us. we should probably consider this. And so like, and we just hit it off. We got along with him really well. And I think at the end of the day, we evaluated it from the standpoint that like Selkirk is going to be Selkirk with or without Friday Pickleball. Like they don't need us to be successful. But if the three of us join forces with these guys, we could truly create a brand of our own and something like completely unique. And I think that really was attractive to us, in the sense that like, I mean, we turned down a pretty substantial amount of guaranteed money from Selkirk to then basically go on the entrepreneurship journey with these guys who were selling paddles that had bananas on them. So it's like, okay, how can we take this brand and do something special with it? And so that was around, I think, September of 2023. And we were officially like partners with them by October. And that's kind of where like the journey with the paddle side of the business began. And then, yeah, it was like, we can create something truly unique with content and with paddles. And yeah, I mean, that's like looking back on it now, it's like, I don't regret that decision even for a second. I mean, it has been truly an incredibly unique ride to do this. And it's like, I was just working at, a corporate job. I worked for JM Smucker Company. And just 2 months ago, I was able to leave my corporate job, and now I'm doing pickleball full time. It's like that. I could never have imagined that would have happened.
That's incredible. And to think of like kind of not necessarily the fallout, but you saw many brands, Selkirk specifically, just drop a lot of their pros, right? And not really invest so much. So like that decision, while at the time would have been pretty lucrative, definitely more money than you had ever seen from pickleball, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just that kind of intuition to bet on yourselves was incredible looking back.
Yeah. It's probably, I bet the three of us could say it's one of the best decisions that we've made. I remember on that phone call, we went into it kind of annoyed, kind of like this kind of sucks.
Ready to fight.
Because, yeah, I mean, we were like, this is a startup brand. There's no way they're going to be able to compete with what Selkirk has on the table. Like these other pickleball brands that were offering us a good amount of money couldn't even get close to Selkirk. And so, we were transparent on the call. We're like, hey, this is what we have on the table from Selkirk. Thinking there's no way they're going to be able to compete with it. And he didn't really bat an eye at it. Matt didn't. He was like, all right, I bet we could make something work here. And so now all of a sudden, that's when our heads kind of turned and we were looking at each other like, this startup brand can make something work with competing with what Selkirk's offering us. And yeah, after that, I mean, we probably went back and forth for about 2 weeks before we settled on a deal. And then we had to go to Selkirk, who thought we were about to sign this contract, and be like, hey, sorry guys, we are going to partner up a paddle company that has bananas on their paddles. So I think that they may have thought that we were kind of dumb for turning down the money, but hindsight, it was the best thing that we could have done. And it's taken us places and allowed us to meet people that otherwise we never would have gotten to do. And yeah, at the end of the day, we're just like very grateful to be doing what we're doing. It's been a blast.